Book of Heaven, Volume 30, May 15th, 1932. How the knowledges on the divine will form the eye and the capacity in order to look and to receive the gift of the divine fiat, and will accustom the creatures to live as its children. Chaos of the human will. I am always back in the supreme fiat, and feeling in me the sweet enchantment of its light, of its peace, of its happiness. Oh, how I wish that the whole entire world would know a good so great, so that all may pray for its kingdom to come upon earth. But while I was saying this, I thought to myself, if the living in the divine will is a gift that he must give to the human generations, and Jesus so much loves, wants, longs for this divine will to be known in order to let it reign, why then does he not hasten to give this gift? And my highest good Jesus, visiting my little soul, all goodness, told me,
"My daughter, you must know that even though I burn with the desire to see my divine will reign, yet I cannot give this gift, not before the creatures, with the truths that I manifested, as they come to know them, have the great good of forming the sight in order to be able to comprehend it, and therefore dispose themselves to receive a gift so great. It can be said that the eye in order to see, and the capacity in order to comprehend it, is now missing. And therefore first I manifested many truths on my divine will. And as the creatures come to know these truths of mine, they will form the eye socket in which to place the pupil, and animate it with sufficient light to be able to look at and comprehend the gift which, more than sun, will be given and entrusted to them. If I wanted to give it today, I would act as if I wanted to give a son to a blind man. Poor one, with all the sun given to him, he would always be blind. Neither would his lot change, nor would he receive any good. On the contrary, he would have a sorrow, having a son as gift without even seeing it or receiving its beneficial effects. On the other hand, one who is not blind, how many goods would he not receive? Having a son as gift at his disposal would be his perennial feast, and he would place himself in the condition of giving light to others, and would be surrounded and loved by all in order to obtain the gift of the light that he possesses. So, to give today the gift of my divine will, which, more than sun, will change the lot of the human generations, would be like giving it to the blind. And to give it to the blind would be like giving them useless gifts, and useless things I know not how to give. Therefore I wait with divine and delirious patience that my truths may make their way, prepare souls, enter into them and form the eye, animated by sufficient light, that they may not only look at the gift of my fiat, but have the capacity in order to enclose it within them, so that it may form in them its kingdom and extend its dominion. Therefore, patience and time allow things to be done as is befitting, and as our sovereignty deserves in operating. We, our Supreme Being, act as a father would, who wants to give a great gift to his little son. The father calls the little one and shows him the gift, saying to him, "This gift is prepared for you. It will indeed be yours," but he does not give it. The son remains surprised, captivated, in seeing the gift that his father wants to give him. And remaining around the father, he pleads with him to give him the gift. And he is unable to detach from him. He pleads and pleads again, for he wants the gift. Meanwhile, the father, seeing him around, takes the opportunity in order to instruct the son, so as to make him comprehend the nature of the gift, the good, the happiness that he will receive from this gift. At the manifestations of the Father, the Son becomes mature and capable not only of receiving the gift, but of comprehending what good, what greatness, is enclosed in the gift he must receive. Therefore he draws closer around the Father. He pleads and pleads again. He longs for the gift. He reaches the point of crying, and can no longer be without the gift. It can be said that, with his pleas and yearnings, by acquiring the knowledges of the gift that his Father has given him, he has formed within himself the life, the space, in which to receive the gift as in a sacred deposit. This delaying of the Father to give the gift to his Son has been a greater love. He longed to give the gift to his Son, but he wanted him capable and able to comprehend the gift he was receiving. And as soon as he sees him mature to receive so great a good, immediately he gives it to him. So we do. More than Father, we long to give the great gift of our will to our children, but we want them to know what they must receive. The knowledge is of a thing. It mature our children and render them capable of receiving so great a good. The many manifestations I have given will be the true eyes of the soul to be able to look at and comprehend what our paternal goodness has been wanting to give for many centuries. More so, since the knowledges I have manifested on my divine will, as they become known by creatures, will cast into them the seed in order to make filial love germinate toward their celestial Father. They will feel our paternity, and that if he wants them to do his will, it is because he loves them and wants to love them as his children, so as to share his divine goods. So, our knowledges on the Divine Fiat will make them accustomed to living as our children, and then will every marvel cease that our Supreme Being is giving the great gift of our will to his children. It is a right of the children to receive the properties of their Father, and it is a duty of the Father to give his goods to his children. One who wants to live like a stranger does not deserve the possessions of the Father. More so, since our paternity yearns, longs, burns with the desire to give this gift, so that one may be the will with his children. Then yes, will our paternal love rest, when we see the work that came out of our creative hands on the lap of our will, in our house and our kingdom populated by our dear children.
After this, I continued to think about the divine will. It seems to me that I cannot be without thinking about it. And my celestial teacher added,
Blessed daughter, all the acts that my divine will does are so bound to one another as to be inseparable, in such a way that if one wants to find them, at first sight one finds one act alone, but upon entering deeper inside, one finds many acts, one distinct from the other, though fused and bound together, so much so that they cannot be detached. This force of union and of inseparability forms the nature of the divine operating. The very creation says it. If even just one star could detach from its place, in which it is connected with all other created things, it would fall and would cause general chaos in all other created things. So great is the inseparability and union that they have. Altogether, they all have life, though they are distinct among themselves, and they form the beautiful harmony of all creation. Once separated, it can be said that they lose life and cause chaos everywhere. Such is the human will separated from the will of its creator. Not only does it itself fall, but it keeps causing chaos everywhere. And if it could, it would turn everything upside down, even the very order of its creator. Nor is there anything to be surprised about. The human will was created by us, and separated from our own would be like a star detached from its place, in which it possessed divine strength, the union in common accord, and with all the good of its creator. By detaching itself, it loses the strength, the union, and the goods in order to live. Therefore, by necessity, it has the lot of falling and of causing chaos everywhere. Now, with the living in my divine will, as the soul does her first act, she feels the strength and the union of all the acts of the Divine Fiat. So one act includes and encloses all other acts, and she feels the need to continue her acts in order to be linked with them, so as to unfold the strength of the divine will that she feels within herself, which, as life cannot be without making itself felt. It wants to breathe, palpitate, operate. One act calls for another, and in this way she forms the sequence of acts with the union of the acts of my will. In order to form a life, one act, one breath, one heartbeat are not enough. No, but it takes the continuous breathing, palpitating, and operating. And as the soul lives in my divine will, she lets it breathe and palpitate, and my fiat forms its entire life of works, as much as it is possible for a creature to enclose within herself. Therefore, if you want its life in you, let your acts be continuous in it.
Fiat.